Hey everybody, I am back and today just with another work in progress update for the Eldar Avatar for Nick's New Year Painting Challenge. May not seem like I've done a lot. I haven't done a tremendous amount, but what I have done is I have magnetized the ends of these so I can actually use them for storage. This thing, I think I did an okay job of straightening it, but this thing was a pain in the butt to straighten. I couldn't believe just how out of shape it was. And actually, my Typhon scythe is also similarly out of shape, and I'm really not looking forward to straightening it. Don't get me wrong, it bends pretty easily, you know, in hot water, but it was like trying to true a real sword or something. Like, I was sitting there twisting, turning, bending in every direction. Like, to get it really somewhat decent, it took a lot. It's like every time you turn one way, it was like a Rubik's Cube. It just got you another way. So I'm quite happy that I'm at a point where I feel pretty good about it. What else have I done? This is actually the majority of what I've done. It may not look like much, but I actually took it came with a standard base, which was interesting because I pulled out my Warwalker base, and some of the other old GW bases of this size that they give you actually have a pre-made template on it. I guess I'm not a big fan of those, although I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do with this. And I didn't want to go really far with the base, because I know historically I started just kind of going as much over the top or putting a lot of extra stuff. Like my Wraith Knight, I put in War Boss from the Assault on Black Reach set, and trying to stuff stuff on. I just really wanted it to be somewhat simple but nice. And so what I did yesterday is I covered the entire base with green stuff and smoothed it out to get it kind of even around the feet, and then also no fingerprints and things. Really tried to smooth it well, and that actually took me like an hour, believe it or not. I mean, it may not sound like much, but to cover this thing with green stuff and to do it well, where I felt comfortable with it. And in all fairness, the hour was not just that. I then I then used some sculpting tools, and I created some fissures and just some irregularities in the ground. And so that's what I did. And then I have a habit of whenever I actually have extra green stuff, I always make rocks. It's just something that I do. And I found that I can never make too many. I have 3 on the side that I didn't use, or 4. I always use them. They're really easy to make, and I just find that they're an excellent thing just to always have. And so all I did is I put some rocks on today after this 24 hours of the regular green stuff curing. Then I just dumped some large pieces of sand, some little pebble pieces or large sand grits, and then just some regular grit sand, and that's it. That's going to be the base, and fairly simple, but that's kind of what I wanted. I really wanted the attention to be on the Avatar for this one, and so I just wanted a decent looking piece of ground. Then what I did is I primed it with my airbrush in black using Vallejo's primer, and let's see. What I then used is Vallejo Model Air Black, and I didn't really spray the base, or I didn't try to spray the base black with the paint. What I mainly did is just sprayed the Avatar himself in black paint, because I really wanted a coat of black paint before I started with my grays, not just to work on the primer with the grays. And so that's it. That's all where I'm at. I will say that he looks cool in black. What I mean is just putting the black on kind of pulls out the detail in a nice way. It's just such a cool looking model. I've had some people write some compliments on the model. It really is. It's always been one that I've wanted to work on, and it's always been one that I've been a bit intimidated by as my painting changed over time. But basically, as you can see, I just sort of turned it there, because what I did, one thing I didn't mention, sorry to digress, but rather than take and just put a magnet on the end of the sculpting that was done. I actually created a bit of some just detail, you know, and I used a magnet and then covered it with green stuff because I didn't have like an appropriate size magnet to perfectly fit onto the end cup that they had for it to just sit on. And so I did it this way. See, I did it on both sides. And when I turn it, I mean, it does show some differences as far as its straightness, and so I do turn it just a certain way, and it looks better. But yeah, it's a good idea from Nick, like from a very practical sense. I do struggle sometimes with gamer practicality in magnetizing versus piddliness of modeling, and then also just painting for the purposes of painting or collecting miniatures and not having it, you know, for real usefulness. Because I find that if I had the choice, I would never magnetize. But magnetizing is great for gaming. You know, it really gives you options. And in this case, it's not an option, it's transport. Which, you know, you generally don't have to worry about transport if it's just for display. But yeah, you know, I think it looks pretty good. Even with, you know, after being magnetized. And lastly, you know, I painted it black, and really now I'm still kind of in the easy part as far as the plan goes, because I'm not completely, I have a good idea of what I'm going to do for the paints, but I've not picked all of the mid-tones and things, and I've not figured out how I'm going to do the hair or these things, whether they're going to be yellow or a different color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with just some dark gray. I have kind of decided that rather than going with like a rich gold, you know, like royal kind of look, I think I'm going to go with more metallics, like natural metallics and like silver or mithril, bulk gunmetal, that kind of stuff, to go with the black and the green. I've just decided I'm just going to go that way. I'm going to do a little different. Yeah, I'm not going with as much gold and bronze. I typically do, actually, and so this is just different for me. But besides that, I'm going to use some really dark grays just to start getting some stone kind of look. And then I'm going to try to do some lighter gray just to make it pop a bit. Just, you know, zenith a bit. Just simply zenith highlighting. And then from there, I got to then, besides the details like the spear and the hair and this, the main body, the tarp, the main body, which is I think going to compromise the trickiness of painting this. I've basically, I'm looking at using some sort of a darker green, but then in addition to using a darker green, I bought another one. And I thought this was it, but sorry, I stepped away from the camera for a second just to go to my paint area. I've got this sort of lighter tone green to get some of the glow effect. So I'm going to use some dark green to start, and then some lighter green, and then I have to pick some mid-tones in between. I was considering using one of my tried and true greens for popping, and that's the I think it's called moot green. It really pops. It looks really good, you know, with black. I might end up still doing that, like having this as a bit of the mid-tone, and then actually having this guy just for the areas to make it even brighter, and maybe even some whites, and then a darker green to start. It's kind of what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? This I do know really pops. It's a really nice contrasty color. I think this would be good just for the areas to start brightening it. Oh, thank you to Martin McNeil. He actually posted a link for a cool video where they did some highlighting on a demon on his chest, and I'm gonna, with some dry brushing in the beginning to start some blending and things like that. I'm gonna definitely be trying some of that as well. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and we will go from there. So a little bit of progress, but still early stages. Okay, everybody, hope everybody's having a good one, and see you guys later.